Hold a £20 note up to the light. It looks permanent. The king's face, the watermark, the promise. It is not. This exact note, left completely alone for 40 years, quietly loses 2/3 of everything it can buy. Do one small thing differently, and the same note becomes almost £300. Same paper, same 40 years. The only variable is a single decision made on day one. And today we make it 3 different ways and follow all 3 to the end. It is 1986. You have 3 identical £20 notes and 3 choices. The first you spend tonight on something warm and forgettable. The second, you do the sensible, cautious thing. You put it in a drawer, safe, where nothing can happen to it. The third, you put to work. 3 notes, 1 starting line, 40 years. Let's watch them run. The first note is the easy one to understand because there's nothing to follow. It bought a good evening in 1986, and then it was gone. No regrets and no lesson. This is simply what money is for, some of the time. We say goodbye to it here. The interesting question was never about the note you spend. It's about the 2 you keep, and the quiet, enormous difference between keeping money safe and keeping it working. The second note sits in the drawer, untouched, exactly as you left it. It feels like the responsible choice. Watch what the world does around it. To buy what £20 bought in 1986, you needed nearly £30 by the mid-90s, around 35 by 2006, over 40 by 2016, and today more than 60. The note never moved. Prices did. A television license that cost £58 in 1986 costs $180 now, roughly 3 times as much. So when you finally open the drawer, the £20 note is still, defiantly, £20, and it buys about 6.5, sitting still, doing nothing wrong. It lost 2/3 of its power. Safe was not the same as safe. The third note went to work. Left invested across those same 40 years at a long-run 7%, £20 becomes about 300. And because inflation was eating the whole time, the honest way to measure it is in 1980s money, where that 300 is worth around £97. Not 20, not 6.5, nearly 100 in real terms. Very nearly 5 times what you started with after inflation has taken its cut. The drawer note kept the number and lost the value. The working note gave up the comfort of standing still and kept almost 5 times the buying power. That is the entire difference between saving and investing in one sheet of paper. Now stop thinking about one note and think about the habit. £20 a month, a single note, dropped in every month for 40 years, is £9,600 of your own money. Invested at that same 7%, it doesn't finish at 9,600. It finishes near 49,000. The extra 40,000 is not yours. It was made by the notes that arrived before it, working while the next one was still in your pocket. That is compounding wearing ordinary clothes, not a windfall, not a bet, just the same £20 decision, repeated, and then left alone. So here are your 3 notes at the finish line. 1 you spent and enjoyed, and that's fine. 1 you kept perfectly safe, and it quietly rotted to 1/3 of itself. And 1 you let out to work, which came home worth nearly 5 times as much. They were identical on day 1. The only thing that separated them was a decision that took 10 seconds and 40 years. The note in your pocket right now is making that decision whether you choose or not. Educational content, not financial advice. Return figures assume 7% and 3% as stated.